Okay, so here are all the changes coming to the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max compared to iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. The first one has to be the displays. The smaller one will actually have a 6.3-inch display instead of 6.1-inch on the current Pro model. The bigger one will have even bigger display than the currently bigger one, which is 6.9-inch instead of 6.7-inch. Now that totally doesn't mean the phones are going to be insanely bigger, but rather the bezels could be even more thinner. Plus, this year's the OLED display will have micro lens technology for brighter and more efficient OLED panels. And these panels are actually coming from Samsung, not LG. Now, the dimension changes is not going to be a huge one. It's about 1 and 1.5 mm difference. Not a big deal, as I said, but the design changes were expected. But according to a new leak by 91 Mobiles, we are still gonna deal with the same exact rear design. No changes. The phones are gonna be bigger in size, slightly as I said, but that's probably it. The camera hump will look the same, even though we had reports saying that the camera hump might look different because the iPhone 16 is getting a change, so 16 Pro and Pro Max will see it. No, they are not. They're gonna look the identical ones. Maybe, hopefully, Apple will color them differently, like it's gonna be darker shade, or maybe they will be all black, something like that. But design-wise, feel-wise, is not gonna see a change. Now, from these renders though, it's of the 16 Pro, and it shows that the action button is slightly more bigger in size compared to the current one, which Mac rumor says that it might not even arrive. So take it with a pinch of salt, but it might even arrive because that just kind of makes sense. Another thing we can also see from this whole thing is that the capture button, again, it's confirmed. Anyway, in the chip department, we're gonna see some big changes. The A17 Pro chipset is not the most efficient Apple's chipset, and it is based on N3B process node, which is a 3nm process node, but it is an exclusive partnership between Apple and TSMC. But the 16 Pro will have the normal N3E process node. This is gonna make the chipset much more efficient and will be called A18 Pro chipset. Now, other than that, the Qualcomm's X75 5G modem, yeah, that's another upgrade. And the biggest upgrade is actually Wi-Fi 7 support. Compared to Wi-Fi 6E, the Wi-Fi 7 is much more faster. The next is in the capture button. This button will have pressure and touch sensitive capabilities. That means a half press would do focus and the full press will actually do a proper photo capture. It's actually a solid state button, so it's not moving, it's just sensitive to the pressure and touch. That's it. The main camera is gonna be a big change. It's gonna be a 1/1.14-inch sensor, close to 1-inch sensor, much closer than current model, which is about 1/1.28-inch sensor. And this sensor, if you are thinking, it is actually IMX 903 rather than IMX 803, can be found inside the current Pro and Pro Max. Now, the teleporter camera is gonna be the 5x teleporter camera on both the Pro models, unlike last year's model. Now, another change coming to the cameras is actually in the ultra-wide-angle department. The ultra-wide-angle camera is now gonna be 48 megapixels instead of 12 megapixels. In the battery department, we don't know what's the 16 Pro's battery size gonna be, but 16 Pro Max will have about 5% larger battery capacity than the 15 Pro Max. It's gonna be 4676 mAh instead of 4422, with up to 40-watt fast charging and 20-watt MagSafe charging. And this is gonna be a huge thing for sure. Also, this time, the single-layer battery technology is gonna be removed in favor of stacked battery technology with more energy density and prolonged lifespan. Now, another thing that is expected, it might or might not arrive because depending on the market, Apple might remove this, is up to 2 TB of storages. Because of the Vision Pro launch, I think this is a big possibility. A sketchy rumor says that the price is gonna be staying the same as the 15 Pro and Pro Max, and the same thing can be said about the base storage option. So yeah, take it with a pinch of salt at this point, but that's all we have right now. Anyway, that's probably it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And yes, if you want, you can get some crazy cool wallpapers up on my website. A link down below. Until the next one, bye and take care.